Hello and welcome to the channel. I've been excited for this video with it being Halo Combat Evolved, or Halo 1, or Halo CE for other names it has come to be known by. I'll be using the Steam version of the Master Chief Collection for this playthrough and the enhanced original graphics and original OST that is included with the Anniversary Edition the collection has. I couldn't say how many times I finished the campaign alone. It's not like this game came out 20 plus years ago, was one of the first FPS story focused games I experienced at the age of, I want to say, 6, telling not just a good story but also why there's aliens versus humans, and had one of the most entertaining multiplayer modes that I could only compare it to some James Bond games from around that time. Did it really come out that long ago? I have played Halo 1 a lot. Not as much as the later entries, except maybe ODST and the RTS spin-offs being ones I haven't spent as much time with. If I really had to put a number on how many times I finished the campaign, I'd have to say maybe 30 plus times, and that's with hesitation since I can't be exact. Halo was developed by Bungie. I'd argue the Halo series was the era of their golden years with game development. Yes, I've also played Destiny and Destiny 2, and yes, I'm still in recovery with my local group. The Destiny annoyed many naive individuals thoroughly, or damn it, for short. And since I'm covering Halo, I'm going to do this video a little differently than usual. I'm going to pour through my mind palace, pull out some of my personal experiences with Halo from back then, and maybe I'll talk about Halo in the current day a bit. Most likely not. This is a game that I not only grew up with, but also made me a fan of FPS genre games for a long while, especially if they had a story that went with solid gameplay. So let's wake up from cryosleep, get a voice in our head telling us to do things, and arm up to try and answer just how good is Halo Combat Evolved, and see if it tests the passage of time and could even be called a masterpiece. Imagine being 6 years old. The gaming landscape was being shaken up with games like Max Payne, Devil May Cry, Jak and Daxter, Final Fantasy X, Metal Gear Solid 2, and Silent Hill 2, and not being able to buy games because of being 6. And that's not including the PC games, and not hearing about the new consoles coming out, or even seeing the giant Xbox that was first introduced, the Duke controller that makes even the chattest of chats feel insecure. I was not playing most of these games except maybe Jak and Daxter, and would be greeted with a big ass black box one day, I want to say around Christmas, with a game that immediately intrigued me, that being Shrek.
Cheeky Bastard is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Halo was one of the first Xbox games that made it into my home. If I remember right, it was a Platinum Hits version that it got later on. Not exactly sure since those usually didn't come out until after 1 million copies got sold or something along those lines. And I have to say that from how Halo presented itself was a first impression that I wish I could replicate how I felt from then. From the Pillar of Autumn's starship it says from Star Wars and how it looked, and reminded me of Power Rangers in space in some regards when thinking of the Astro Megaship interiors at the time. Even walking through a Covenant ship was pretty neat to see, leading to eventually the ring proper, and seeing what a console game like Halo could do at the time was mind-blowing for me. From its massive environments for the time, with grass plains and trees and some rock formations with alien structures sprinkled around, an island with a superstructure underneath it that goes on for miles and miles, to ice canyons that are full of technology, swamp areas that did look like an actual bog in game form. Halo isn't a bad looking game, even if its age is showing in many regards to its graphics. The Master Chief Collection version even upped its graphical fidelity to a degree that makes it look like it did to me when I first saw and played Halo. Though Halo kind of does a copy-paste with the later half of the game's campaign, it isn't a bad thing since the levels added some new areas, making them just a bit fresher. Navigating the world of Halo also isn't too difficult, and the levels aren't too long, especially since I do know what I'm doing most of the time and not play on the legendary mode at least. The Anniversary Edition also remasters the game, making it look closer to the later Halo games in art aesthetics, and seeing the difference of old versus new on the fly is neat in the Master Chief Collection version. I'm still partial to the original visuals, probably because it's the one I grew up with a redone OST to go with the visuals. I also prefer the original tracks myself, but the new soundtrack is still pretty good. Even the characters brought this game to life, with Chief and Cortana poking fun at each other.
Captain Keyes.
Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well. Cortana did her best, but we never really had a chance.
A dozen Covenant superior battleships against a single Halcyon-class cruiser. With those odds, I'm content with 3, make that 4 kills. Sleep well?
No thanks to your driving, yes.
So you did miss me.
Johnson getting some excellent one-liners. He knows what the ladies like.
Once again, it is our job to finish what the Flyboys started. We are leaving this ship platoon and engaging the Covenant on solid ground. When we meet the enemy, we will rip their skulls from their spines and toss them away laughing. Am I right, Marines?
Sir, yes, sir!
Damn right I am. Now move it out. Double time.
And though Keyes doesn't interact with Chief much, he's got this aura of importance that makes him stand out just a bit. Halo even makes time to have some fun with itself, even when the situation gets dire.
This thing is falling apart!
It'll hold.
We're not gonna make it!
We'll make it.
Pull up! Pull up! You did that on purpose, didn't you?
These are still pretty funny after many years from its release, and are welcome additions that give the game just a bit more personality. But what made the Halo world really come alive for me and my friends growing up at the time were the theories that we collectively had with Halo. For example, because we didn't know about cryo-freezing, we thought Chief was a robot due to his armor and the tech behind it, while also being able to put an AI chip into his helmet, which we thought was into his actual head. We did find out that Chief was for sure human and was a cyborg. Then we didn't know what a cyborg was, and the only basis we had was probably Terminator or the androids of Dragon Ball to use as examples. Talking with friends about Halo immersed me into the world more and more as time went on with the series, which probably helped me like it so much. I could go on and on about just how much Halo influenced my gamer formative years with just this segment, so I'll move on to the gameplay of Halo and get into some of the other things that made it, and arguably still makes it, pretty immersive.
Alright, all you greenhorns, listen up. My name is Sergeant Johnson. When you are not in my presence, you can call me anything your degenerate hearts desire, assuming your tiny brains can string together a couple of cuss words. But while I'm here, you will address me as, Sir, yes sir, do I make myself clear? My superiors asked me to deliver the welcome oration for the Halo launch party. They also informed me that the Bungie fans I would be addressing are the hardest of the hardcore. Apparently, I was misinformed. Bungie spent 4 years putting this game together for you? I was expecting a room full of badasses. Some of you look like you'd have a hard time pulling on your own diapers, let alone beating back a full-scale alien assault on your own species. Since you're about to play Halo, I'm gonna give you a quick course in saving your own ass.
Huh?
Get out here! This is the enemy. Notice the beady eyes, the clammy skin, the repulsive gait. I know what you're thinking. Oh, dude, it looks just like my mama. Do not be confused! These hateful little bastards may appear cheap and easy, but they are but the tip of a vulgar iceberg. F them, or by God, they will f you! Thanks for helping out.
No problem.
Haha! All right then, you will finally be able to play Halo. Good luck! You're gonna need it.
Halo Combat Evolved is about playing as a Spartan 2 named the Master Chief, using his skills in combat through the campaign. In a fairly simple tutorial, it's shown how Chief's aiming works, which for a good amount of games of the time using another stick to aim was pretty crazy. How the health system works being something to manage by finding health paths in the world to give more survivability for the levels, and the most notable feature, the Chief's shields, and to take into account the damage to them and the recharge time that they have. The movement is also pretty standard, going from jumping, albeit pretty high too, using a flashlight for areas, crouching to get under things, a melee attack to knock away opponents or knock them down, and a motion tracker that highlights enemies and allies when they're moving around. These are the basic controls for Halo, which is nearly perfect to this day. To complement the already fantastic, albeit janky at times, movement of Halo is the vehicles that can be found throughout the game. The Warthog being a versatile combat car that can seat a passenger and a turret operator, making the Warthog pretty useful for getting around, and it being indestructible is pretty helpful.
Why Warthog? I mean, it doesn't really look like a pig.
Say that again.
I think it looks more like a puma.
Ghost being a smaller vehicle that's quicker than a Warthog and can use plasma weapons to attack, with it being extremely fragile in combat. The Banshee being able to fly around to fire plasma bolts and cannon blasts at enemies and vehicles alike, while also being pretty fragile. And the Scorpion, a heavy-duty tank that can carry many Marines on top of using a machine gun and cannon that just says, "What enemies?" with every shot it fires and hits enemies, making the steering a balancer.
Now that you've mastered driving the M808V, let's move on to some of the safety features.
No, wait, go back! Why are there 6 pedals if there are only 4 directions?
For vehicles, the movement is also near perfection, with using the left stick for the accelerator and reverse and looking with the right stick to turn, making it almost seamless to drive vehicles in Halo. Then there's the Marines. Not only are they decent combat companions that help out in the field and manning some of the vehicles, they also have some funny dialogue that gives them more personality, while also raising some questions. This is mostly with the case of Sergeant Johnson being a recurring NPC that made me wonder if he was cloned a ton of times to fill the Marine ranks. Not complaining, Johnson is fantastic. It's just one of those funny things in Halo that stuck out. Though the Marines may have personality, they don't really have flair that made them stick out from one another, with them all wearing similar armors and voices and faces. This seems to be covered by the main enemies of the game, the Covenant, from the fodder grunts being simple to take out, jackals that carry around shields that deflect bullets, elites in varying colors that have similar capabilities to Chief, and the hunters being mini tank enemies that can be taken down with lots of ammo, grenades, or love tap to the behind. The variety of encounters that the Covenant gives per level keeps it relatively fresh, especially with elites that have more shield strength, some that carry energy swords or can be invisible with lower health, or even a combination of all of those. The game even uses coloring for the various enemies to show if the enemy is tougher or not, which is a simple and effective thing to do, even if it comes off a little bit lazy these days. The Covenant alone makes the campaign interesting to play through, and when playing on Legendary, the highest difficulty, not only are the enemies tougher, Legendary also switches out some of the placements for the enemies, which makes the mode change more than just enemies have more health and do more damage. There's also the weapons that are split respectively between the human and Covenant armaments. Human weapons have reload and ammo features and focus on massive damage with the arsenal that can be found around, especially with the rocket launcher and the shotgun being able to deal massive damage to even shielded elites, with the grenades being more damaging and explode a lot quicker. This makes the human weapons good choices to take down unshielded enemies quickly and effectively. On the other hand is the Covenant weapons, which instead of using ammo, they use a battery and overheat system to manage ammo, at least for most of the weapons. And these weapons will take down shields like melted butter that can make even elites easier to take down. Covenant also has one of the most unique weapons, the Needler, a crystal ammo based weapon that not only homes in on targets, if their target is hit enough, the crystals explode in a grenade fashion similar to the plasma grenade, the Covenant grenade. This grenade can stick to opponents and vehicles, and after a small amount of time will explode. Fun fact about the plasma grenades is that they can be set off with other plasma weaponry if they're dropped on the ground. This is both a useful tip and a warning, since these explosions can take down Chief's shields and the Chief no problem. The weapons bring out this rock, paper, scissors feeling to encounters and how to approach them and with what, and even extends to the vehicles, at least for a good amount of the first half of Halo's campaign. There is another enemy type, but because of their involvement in the plot, I'll save them for that portion of the video. I'll say this though, they turn almost all the mechanics I spoke of to this point on their head with how they function. These mechanics are also used in the multiplayer of Halo with some differences. In the multiplayer, all vehicles are indestructible, for example. Aside from that, all the players are on a relatively even playing field unless they get power-ups. These being invisibility and an overshield that adds 2 bars of shield. These are also in the campaign as well, but for the players, it's almost a one-to-one on how mechanics work in multiplayer. I couldn't forget about the music that Halo has, being some of the best music I heard in video game at the time, and it still holds up. Not staying too long in areas, amping up the action or being atmospheric in some of the most tense part of the story beats. The soundtrack still holds up, and the Anniversary Edition kept most of it similar in spirit, just to drive home how iconic the Halo soundtrack is. Now, I'll get into the story, which, to go along with the already stellar gameplay, still holds up pretty well.
So, you beat the Halo demo. Not bad, soldier, not bad at all. But are you ready to take the next step? In the full version of Halo, you'll find additional vehicles like tanks, plasma turrets, and aircraft. Powerful new human and alien weapons. A single-player campaign spanning 10 massive indoor and outdoor environments. And support for intense multiplayer battles with up to 16 of your friends. Or enemies. All that wrapped up in an epic sci-fi story that's so freaky! Whoa! It makes me shake just thinking about it. Halo, Combat Evolved. Buy one. Heck, buy 2. That's an order, soldier.
Before I begin, I'll go through the ancient scroll known as the Game Manual, which describes the events that led up to Halo Combat Evolved. In the year 2552, Earth exists, but due to overpopulation, humanity expanded to space and colonized new planets, with the UNSC being the main body for most government regulations. Approximately 30 years prior to the game, on planet Harvest, was when humanity encountered the Covenant and began a long war with them to current day. This would culminate with Planet Reach being the focal point to gather remaining Spartan 2s, humans with augmentations and experimental equipment that defied typical human physiology and training to go with it, to mount an attack on a Covenant capital ship, find their homeworld, and attempt to stop their attacks on humanity. Before this plan begins, the Covenant find Reach and annihilate all people on the planet with a lone ship called the Pillar of Autumn, making a blind jump into deep space with one of the last known Spartan 2s on board to try and lead the Covenant away from Earth. Now, it's Halo proper, and I'll put a spoiler warning here to skip the main game plot. The game may be 20 years old at this point, but still, in case someone wants to go in blind, here's a timestamp and I'll wait a bit. Ready? Let's get into Halo Combat Evolved. Following a blind jump to deep space, Captain Keyes of the Pillar of Autumn and ship AI Cortana see a mysterious ring in space with the Covenant around it. Before getting bearings, the Covenant begin an attack on the Autumn, leading to unfreezing the Master Chief for assistance. Keyes then gives Chief Cortana to protect the secrets she holds from the Covenant and keep her safe. After escaping and landing on the ring begins a rescue mission for Keyes to learn more about the ring world revealed to be Halo, revered by the Covenant and is believed a weapon of mass destructive capabilities. The mission changes to find a way to stop the Covenant from activating Halo while Chief also keeps Cortana safe. Eventually, Chief and Cortana find a control room when Cortana, horrified, tells Chief to go find Keyes and stop him from opening a weapon bunker. Chief does so, and along the way finding a downed Pelican with an emergency message on repeat.
Sector 9, Pillar of Autumn. Assistance. We are under attack by some new kind of hostile. It isn't Covenant. Captain Keyes has been captured by hostiles. Dug in at a large structure in a swamp. We can hold out. Please. I will send this message to repeat at intervals. Dropship Victor 933, clear.
the motion tracker detecting allies but not seeing them, and finding massive destruction in the bunker with bodies all over the place with weird goop in areas, and a lone Marine terrified so much that he shoots at Chief.
Stay back! Stay back! You're not turning me into one of those things! I'll blow your brains out! Get away from me! Ah! Ah! Don't touch me, you freaks! I won't be like you, I'll die first! Find your own hiding place, the monsters are everywhere! Play dead! That's what I did! Play dead! They took the live ones. Oh god, I can still hear them. Monsters! Ah! 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 Just leave me alone!
Shit.
This leads to Chief finding Jenkins, one of the Marines with keys, and through his recording discovers the secret of the bunker, that being the parasitic organism known as the Flood. This is the third faction of Halo, and at the time was one of the biggest surprises, since no mention of them was made from what I remember and could find from the time. And when I myself encountered them, they were pretty terrifying, with how creepy they moved, the sounds that they make, the relentless attacks, and also being instigators from one of the worst levels many agree on being the library. I didn't mind it too much, but I can understand why. After the Flood are released is when 343 Guilty Spark is introduced and, with Chief's help, tries to activate Halo, which turns out to be a galaxy-spanning wipeout of the Flood's food, which is any living thing. So with 343 betraying Chief...
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, really?
Chief and Cortana go to find keys to get codes to activate a self-destruct of the Autumn when they find keys being turned into one of the Flood. With the codes in hand, Chief and Cortana get to the Autumn, and after some resistance from Spark and the Flood, are able to make the Autumn go nuclear, destroying the Halo ring, with Chief and Cortana barely escaping, and it looking to be them as the only survivors of the Autumn crew.
Come here, you mother...
Oh, This is it, baby. Hold me.
To say that I adore Halo Combat Evolved would be an understatement. Not only did it come out at the right time for me, it has remained one of my favorite games to play even if the multiplayer isn't really there anymore. But when it came out, it was some of the most fun I had playing a game with multiple people, making Halo not only a shooter, but also an FPS party game. The game world would then be fleshed out in novel releases that explained the fall of Reach before Halo Reach came out, more information on the Flood, which would get more explained later, and despite them terrifying me, it still wasn't as bad as when the SAX from Metroid Fusion was introduced for me, and even some flavor text to other events of the universe with Ghosts of Onyx most notably. This one was really good at explaining the Spartan 3 program and some more of the Forerunner tech that wouldn't be shown till much later in the games, with even one novel with Johnson as a focus in Contact Harvest. And that's not only from novels, which though they may be a mixed bag on how good they can be, a good amount of these are fantastic to get more engrossed and familiarized with the Halo universe. And that's just from the first game. The series would go on to become the juggernaut it is today and would spawn TV shows. Forward Unto Dawn is my favorite, along with some mixed attempts such as the more recent Halo show.
Oh my goodness!
Comics would be made, movies as well, most notably with Halo Legends, an anthology film that spans some of the concepts in the series. The series would even delve into the RTS genre a couple times with Halo Wars, which is ironic since apparently Halo was going to be an RTS originally for the Mac. Though Halo 1 may be old and rough around the edges, because of how well it was made, it still has the right bones and framework that is near perfection within it. Which, when getting into the later games, Bungie would not only refine the engine graphically, they would also add more to the games, more lore for the universe, more iconic characters, grander set pieces and musical scores, and even Halo 1 would get its anniversary version being created much later. Halo Combat Evolved will definitely still be a classic and is one of those kinds of games to experience at least once, even if it's just the campaign. And I can only say that Halo Combat Evolved is not just a good game, it's a masterpiece in game design, story, character, just about the whole package.
Hello all, Brian here. Battle Pillock forgot to say where to play Halo 1. It's available on Xbox console and the PC Portal and through Steam with cross-play compatibility as long as an Xbox account gets linked. Now back to Battle Pillock, bloody balmy he is.
Before leaving, leave a comment, like, or even subscribe for more content similar to this. Hopefully the answer is not only how good Halo CE is, but hopefully show that it's a masterpiece as well. Did I leave anything out from Halo Combat Evolved? Is it not as much of a masterpiece as I make it out to be? Does Halo CE actually still hold up, or are my glasses too rose-tinted to see the flaws? Is Cortana right about Halo actually being finished? I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!
Halo. It's finished.
No, I think we're just getting started. I need a weapon.
I'm going loud.
Bullshit blazing, still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new one. How dare you? Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the game. Can't you see I'm blazing? Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new one. How dare you? My time is my word. Your words will never let me disappear. That is bullshit blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new word. How dare you? Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the game.
Sir, finishing this fight.